So what's the difference between a prebiotic and a probiotic? And why should some people be avoiding these at all costs? So a probiotic is actually a supplement containing bacteria. It's thought that we have both unhealthy and healthy bacteria inside of our colon. And our colon is just the uppermost part of the large intestine that houses the majority of our gut bacteria. That thing. Alright, now we're in the kitchen. So it's thought that we have unhealthy and healthy gut bacteria. And the use of a probiotic is actually to increase the amount of beneficial bacteria by putting them in a supplement and ingesting them. However, one thing that we need to watch out for when we're taking a probiotic is whether or not this probiotic will actually get to the large intestine. Because let's say that this capsule degrades in stomach acid. If the capsule dissolves inside of the stomach, which is much higher up in the digestive tract, that is where these bacteria will be released. And if it's in the stomach, these bacteria will probably be killed off by our stomach acid. But let's say it's slightly lower down inside of the small intestine. The stomach can actually colonize our small intestine, and this is referred to as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, most commonly referred to as SIBO. And SIBO is not a beneficial thing. This increases the amount of fermentation that occurs, meaning that we'll feel much more gassy and bloated because these bacteria are actually fermenting the food that we eat. Additionally, these bacteria are actually competing with absorption with our small intestine cells for the absorption of all of our nutrients, including the micronutrients. And the more bacteria inside of our small intestine, the more competition there is and the less food will actually be absorbing. And this can lead to nutrient deficiencies and very low energy because we're simply not absorbing our food properly. And this is why I don't recommend that people take probiotics. Instead, I just recommend doing the healthy lifestyle habits that allow us to curate our gut bacteria to have more healthy gut bacteria. And these are things like sun exposure, exercise, and eating a whole foods diet. And the only reason I say a whole food diet is because it's a simple schematic that makes us eat more fruits, vegetables, and high quality proteins, specifically from meat and eggs. And some of the micronutrients found in these products are actually very important for digestion. And this allows us to keep the gut bacteria inside of the colon where we want them to digest undigested food that's passed through the small intestine. All of the things I mentioned allow us to increase nutrient absorption. In the case of sun exposure leading to vitamin D production, and exercise actually increase the proliferation or growth of healthy gut bacteria, and in the case of diet, increase the growth of healthy gut bacteria, and provide them with all of the nutrients in the form of complex carbohydrates and micronutrients they need to survive. So the next thing that we'll talk about is prebiotic. Prebiotics are the food for these gut bacteria. And this can come in the form of just food that we eat or in the form of a supplement. And these supplements are typically just some sort of insoluble or unabsorbable compound that has been shown to go through the small intestine undigested and be used as fuel for the gut bacteria inside of our large intestine. With that being said, who are prebiotics contraindicated for? Honestly, I would say a lot of people. Similar to the probiotics, it's very hard to predict where these capsules will release. If they open up inside of the stomach, they'll be useless. And if they open up inside of the large intestine, this could potentially cause bacteria from the large intestine to migrate into the small intestine. And then we have the same issue of a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Additionally, if we get SIBO and we begin to take a prebiotic supplement, we're simply just feeding all of the bacteria that's already inside of our small intestine, meaning we'll be making SIBO worse. And this is why, once again, I've never recommended a prebiotic supplement. But if we know that we do not have SIBO, we could simply get natural prebiotics from our food. And this would come in the form of fiber that's going to be contained in fruits and vegetables. With that being said, if we're on a lower carbohydrate diet, and maybe we're even on a carnivore diet, there are gut bacteria that use fatty acids and amino acids. So no, someone on a carnivore diet is not starving all of their gut bacteria. Rather, they're changing their gut bacteria to have bacteria that are more favorable for their dietary habits. And someone who is eating a very high carbohydrate diet is changing their gut bacteria to bacteria that are more favorable for a high carbohydrate diet. But given that both of these diets are healthy and the rest of your life is healthy, your gut bacteria are more than likely going to be beneficial. And it really seems that the only thing that gives us these non-beneficial gut bacteria are eating the wrong kinds of food, specifically packaged or processed food. However, simply just old food could cause an overgrowth of non-beneficial gut bacteria. And not just old food, but just improperly stored food. And having an unhealthy lifestyle also seems to be one of, if not the biggest predictor of unhealthy gut bacteria. So excessive weight gain, lack of exercise, and lack of sun exposure, which all typically coincide with a lower quality diet. which is why it's very hard to tell you which one of these are the most important factors. And instead, we should just try and perfect all of them if we can, or at least do our best as often as possible. The last thing I'll say is that I would avoid buying prebiotic and probiotic supplements from people that are selling them on the internet, because they will tell you all of the beneficial things that can occur, but they will not tell you that for most people they're actually contraindicated. And there's actually a lot of work that should be done beforehand to optimize your lifestyle before there's a strong chance that these supplements will have a positive effect. Therefore, simply just eating the correct diet of fruits, vegetables, and animal proteins such as meat and eggs, and when I say meat, I'm referring to bovine, venison, fish, poultry, and other animal products, and also doing some of the non-diet related things such as exercise and getting sun exposure, because these things can positively affect our gut bacteria. And if you really want to learn more and you want to learn how to lose weight and have energy at the same time, and also how to fix your digestive issues, send me a message.